high school girl's been murdered. Mr. Harrison's daughter is missing. And now at the house where she lives, the other girls are getting obscene phone calls.
Yeah, what I've done is I've tapped this phone so that when it rings, it'll ring at the station house, too.
There was a little girl murdered over in the park tonight.
Yes, I heard.
Your phone's ringing. Hello?
Hey, Mommy. Hey, the baby. Baby, all right, Mom.
Who's there?
I know you're there, nasty man. You answer me, you spirit. Mommy. Come here. Where's the Agnes? You want?
What are you doing?
This is Graham. It's group 140, terminal 55.
Remember those idyllic scenes out of your childhood? Crisp winter nights, star bright, sleigh bells, crackling Yule logs, candlelight glistening off of shimmering Christmas trees, chestnuts roasting over open fires, carolers beneath snow-covered window ledges. Remember those. Remember them well. After Black Christmas, they'll never be the same again. Black Christmas, starring Olivia Hussey, Keir Dullea, Margot Kidder, and starring John Saxon as Lieutenant Fuller. If this movie doesn't make your skin crawl, it's on too tight.
Yeah, all right, man. Finally got here. Sorry
What
about
an
all
intro,
that.
man. That was amazing.
Hey, you know me, man. I'm all about the hoopla. You know, I love all that shit. That's why I haven't really streamed all that much, man, and that's why I get off of it because they went from charging $25 to they jumped right to 45 a month, and it's just like, man, I just hate doing that. But I figured for a month, I'll do it, squeeze all of them in that I possibly can. Welcome, man. It's good to finally have you here.
No, thanks for inviting me, and what a movie to meet up on and chat about. Because just watching those clips, I'm just like, my God, Like every time I watch it, it's a 5-star movie. It's just brilliant. What a cast! Just everything about it. I just love it. Love it. Love it.
Hell yeah! You bring in Keir Dullea from Kubrick. You bring in early Margaret Kidder. You got Lydia Hussey right off Romeo and Juliet. You got Art Hindle, which is doing a lot. He did a lot of Canadian horror. We discussed Canadian horror, and that's why I thought we'd start off with this one. And then if we wanted to go to Prom Night and Terror Train and all, and some Cronenberg later, we could do that too. So
yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? The Americans kind of a lot of American directors, I think it's almost like fair game. Get as much as you can influence from the Canadians, so they're far enough away where we don't have to worry about them. And there's only really Cronenberg who kind of got the acclaim, whereas somebody like Bob Clark has made incredible films, very different films, but this for example, wow, like you mentioned all those names and John Saxon and just like people that you love. And this for me is Margot Kidder's best performance. She's such a great character. Barb is an amazing character. Like you don't see characters like her in many movies.
She's real.
Yeah, she's real. And she's like a bit raw, and like just some of the stuff she comes out with is a bit wild, and it just makes you really like her and engaged by her. Olivia Hussey, I'm always jealous because I want that sweater. I just think that sweater's amazing that she's got with her hands on it. It's man, there's so many little things.
And this has got such comedy mixed in with it too. Just dry humor that's just kind of shoved in there to where it just feels really natural. Bob Clark, man, could do anything. I always call him the jack of all trades. I mean, because look, you got Porky's, you got A Christmas Story, you got Death Dream, you got Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. I mean, the guy could do anything, and he did. And it's too bad that we lost him early.
Yeah. He's almost a bit like one of my other favorites, Stuart Gordon, in the sense of you can be like, oh, he's attached to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and then there's Dolls and there's Reanimator and there's all these other, and you're just like, they just make criminally underrated creators. They're not making these films with millions and millions, but they stand the test of time. And if you gave people millions and millions and told them to make these movies, they couldn't.
Oh yeah, I've always said that the best movies to me were Labors of Love. Where they pretty much got their friends together and made them, like Chainsaw Massacre. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Night of the Living Dead, where it's basically them and their friends getting together and making a movie. Phantasm, where it took them a year or two to make it because they had to keep getting money to make more of the film. So it's like that's are the ones that it's kind of like a recording artist. Their first album or so is always the best because that's the one that they really struggled with. They didn't have any money. They were nobodies, and that's always the best art, really.
Yeah, totally.
I have some stories about this too. This one goes all the way back to my childhood when I was real little. I'll talk about that as we go. But if you're ready to get it rolling, I know you don't got a whole heck of a lot of time, so I'll do the 5 and we'll get it rolling and we'll bullshit from there. Cool.
Yeah, man.
Cool. All right, let's go. Anybody else that might be watching in the replay or whatever? Hopefully you already got it ready because I'm going to do a 5 right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I already had the menu playing too. You heard that creepy ass Silent Night that comes off of the soundtrack here. I have the vinyl.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you know I had a load of horror vinyl that I bought a job lot of, and then when we moved house and I needed a lot of money for repair. I sold them all on eBay. I made really good profit on all of them, but there was a couple that I really wanted to keep hold of, and one of them was it wasn't that one of it. It was like a not as good version of that one, and I was like, oh man, I wanted to keep it.
It's so creepy. It's got because there is no score to this movie. It's just hitting on the piano and shit like that is the music to it. And I think that it
feels a bit like a TV movie almost. Like a lot of Canadian films feel like TV movies, which in a way makes it creepier because you kind of feel like it's going to be a little bit more gentle than it is. maybe that's a
Yeah.
Canadian thing. They're all like, sorry and everything's, and polite and everybody's nice and lovely. And then the films are not. Like Cronenberg, perfect example.
Oh man, Cronenberg! I'm such an early Cronenberg fan. Like Shivers is one that I caught late, but it ended up being it's his first actual film, and it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, me too. The early ones, like again, like where they're in Canada and it's cold and it's like 70s looking and grey concrete and heads exploding and man.
Yeah.
Some good ones.
You're right though. I was thinking about that. What you said about Margaret Kidder. She really is her most natural and her best in this. I love the Christopher Reeve Superman, but I never thought she made a good Lois Lane. But
yeah, she's almost she's almost wasted in that character because obviously the movie's called Superman.
Right.
Yeah. She's so good. Oh, she was so good, and I think she brings a lot of her issues in real life to this. I think she was a bit of a kind of rough and tumble character, and I think she brings that when she does roles well. There's a film where she plays a sister. It's like in the 70s film. I think it might have been before the Sister. Is it called Sister?
That's a Brian. That's a great Brian De Palma, man. I have that too. That's one of my favorite Brian De Palmas. That and The Fury. It doesn't get much love, but that's two of De Palma's best.
Yeah, I think that like I like when you have the actors who have a bit of personality. I mean, they're not playing the same character every single time, but there's a little bit of something there. I think these days people might say like Jennifer Lawrence has that sometimes, where or maybe in her own personality she has, maybe not on screen as much. Whereas Margot Kidder and Carrie Fisher as well, another example, like kind of just got a look charisma and back then you had to really fight for screen time as a female, in these films. Especially if you're going to get killed in 10 minutes, like most. Amy Steele in she was like the one character who really got to Jason, and
she was the first one. She was the first one that gave you shit. And still the only one all the way to the end of the series, really, that really looked at him and looked at why he was the way he was and why, she really cared about that. And that's why, to me, she's the greatest final girl of all time.
That's Jenny a good call.
She's my favorite ever.
I only appreciated her on multiple watches of that film, and I started going, oh, okay, like she's bringing something to this that nobody else has done in 10 plus films, like
she brought that quality to April Fool's Day as well. She didn't get to explore it as much, but she brought that to April Fool's Day.
Yeah, good call on that. Yeah, I forgot about that.
She's my favorite of all time, followed closely by Marilyn Burns. To me, Marilyn Burns' performance in the original Chainsaw Massacre is the greatest performance of all time from a final girl. That's the best performance because it's so real. She really was just out of her head by that time. When she laughs at the end in the back of that truck, she means that shit. And what's messed up is it's a couple weeks later they called her and they was like, Toby Hooper called her and was like, hey, we need to kind of reshoot this. She was like, you're kidding me. Because she was really just laughing. She was giggling because she was so happy that they were done. To have to go back, I bet was like, oh, man. Something underneath your fingernail,
The physical and mental stuff that they put actors through, then you wouldn't be able to get away with now. It's like The Exorcist, all the back injuries that people were given being pulled back and all these things. You think, okay, we got an absolutely amazing film, but people were really mistreated to get those amazing films.
That was so bad. He was even hurting people he wasn't trying to hurt. Like he wasn't trying to hurt Linda Blair. It was the contraption that she was in that made her do this. It came loose and was smacking against her back, and they didn't know it. So when she's screaming for her mom, she really meant it.
It must be strange for her now because it won't have been a completely positive experience.
Right.
So to sit in conventions in your 60s, signing things, people go in, oh, will you write this swear word on the thing? And she's like, I don't really want to. And like I heard in Manchester, she was a bit grumpy at the last big con in the UK that we have. She's
like
she
that
wasn't
a lot.
really up for him. Yeah.
She likes to push her animal agenda, which is cool. I appreciate that. I love animals, but people don't
Me
go
too.
there to hear about your animal activism. They go there to discuss your roles, savage streets. I mean, you know what I mean? That's what
Yeah.
they go for. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Drake, what's
It'd
going
be,
on?
it's yeah. It's like I suppose it'd be the same if she just wanted to. Was it that film Sorceress or whatever? If she didn't want to talk about The Exorcist and only wanted to talk about Sorceress.
Yeah, they pay for autograph from somebody who's been in these films that they grew up on, not her activism. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, she has
Do you
to
know?
realize that.
Do you not think that this actress here with the glasses, she reminds you a little bit of the guy from Friday the 13th with the curly hair?
Oh,
Larry
yeah.
Zellner, is it?
Willis, yeah. And this is this is just this killer, man. I remember. I'll go ahead and tell it. The first time I ever seen this, I was at my oldest brother's house. He was 17 years older than me, and he had a family, everything going on. Well, I went to like during the summer, I would just spend a week at his house. You know, just vacation, go to hang out with that part of the family. Well, I remember I went to sleep on the couch, and they just kind of took me in, gave me a pillow, gave me a blanket. Well, it must have been 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. TV was still going. I wake up, and this is just starting on the part where he's climbing up the thing,
Oh,
just like you did here a minute ago. And I ended up laying
yeah.
there. I was probably about 8, and I ended up laying there and watching this whole thing. About 8 years old, with all the lights off. I'm the only one in the room at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. It was terrifying,
Jeez, I
and
bet.
I fell in
Yeah.
love with it. I fell in love with it.
It's the noises. It's the noises that he makes, and
Yeah,
what scares me. Not many films. There's two films that really get to me. This is one of them. Suspiria, the original Suspiria, really got to me.
right.
But what and I can tie down why this one gets to me because when I was a kid, I was home ill from school, and we had like a crank phone call, and it was
Mm,
like a weird sexual dude, and I was really ill, and I didn't know what was going on, and I was like on for quite a while because I was like about 7 or something,
yeah,
and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" I didn't even say anything to my mum or anything. And while he was on, I just threw up everywhere.
yeah,
So when I hear Billy in this, and he's like, I
yeah.
think there's something just goes in my head. A bit like you were saying about being a kid when you were a kid. It just makes you go, oh, something like a bit of a flashback kind of thing.
Yeah, because this guy, when he left a crank, a crank phone call, I mean, this guy cornered the market. I mean, nobody's
Yeah,
better than Billy at leaving an obscene phone call. I mean, this guy got it
yeah,
down.
yeah. Barb's so funny though because she's just like, fuck you, like
Like she
put it in
deals
a
with it
wall
every day.
socket.
Like
She's
it's just
great.
another day to her. Where she must really be. I mean, her mom has money, but obviously she's ran with the wilder, lower class
Yeah,
crowd.
she sneaks
Obviously,
out of the house and yeah.
that's why she just seems so real. She seems just like I've known chicks just like her. I mean, really.
Yeah, yeah. Funny thing with the Olivia Hussey character as well is like they're like polar opposites,
Yep.
and she and I know I keep going back to it, but a couple of years ago there was somebody was selling replica sweaters, and I was
Oh, wow.
like, oh, I'm gonna buy one. I'm gonna buy one of these. Nobody will know what it comes from or whatever, but I'll know, and I'll have this cool sweater. And then they just stopped selling them, and I can't find unless somebody will knit me one. I just think it's such a cool design.
It is. It is. And they actually wore their own clothes here, so there's no telling where the hell she got that thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
she's not around anymore to ask. So
No,
unfortunately,
man.
I remember she passed a year or two ago.
Yeah, I remember it was around the time I was looking for the sweater, and I was like, "Oh, geez, yeah."
Yeah, people
She's
jumped on
very
those.
striking.
A lot more people knew about them than you think. I've had that happen a few times where I figure, hey, I'm gonna get this, and I wait too long, and then that makes me realize a lot more people are onto this and realize this than what I thought.
Yeah, something
You
sells
know,
out. It was a
there's a lot of us
guy
out
I
there.
know who's a director, and his partner, who is a director as well. She opened this horror themed
Right.
shopping page, and it was all very sort of niche references. It wasn't like a picture of someone, it was like the thing that they were wearing in the film. And I was
Yeah.
like, well, I like that. And then I was going back and forth on it because it was like maybe like
Right.
$100 or something, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I can really justify $100 for a sweater, And then by the time I made the decision, I think I sent it to my wife like as a hint for Christmas. I was like, just get me this and nothing else, and then she didn't, and I was like, I went back to look and it had gone. I was like, oh man, that's it, too late. Like you say, you've got to take your chance sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. This is there's a lot more people out. There's a lot more of us out there than we realize. I didn't realize how many people out there were like me until I started this channel, and then I began to realize, damn, there's a lot of us out there.
Oh yeah, and like I think, if anything, the horror genre has kept the cinemas open throughout COVID and beyond. They're the one thing other than Marvel movies really that'll keep people going into the cinemas. I feel it's become more mainstream now. It used to be like you were a weirdo for liking it, a bit like heavy metal, I guess, but like, or wrestling, like a very niche. Now it's like the coolest. It's just proper mainstream thing. I suppose like comic books as well. Like when I was a kid buying comic books, I had to get them on import. They were like really expensive. Nobody else was really buying them in, like, say, in the UK. Like, there was no movies or anything until like the Superman movie, like we were saying. So it's a bit like you feel like you really are on your own. There's no social media to kind of connect with people across the pond or anything like that. So you don't really realize there are loads of people, but now we're just all aware of each other.
And you think you know so much. Like I come into this channel going, man, I'm going to blow everybody away. I got this knowledge, and I immediately ran to a bunch of people that knew just as much or more than me. I was like, oh my god.
Oh, do you know what? I probably forgotten more than I knew in the first place. Like now, I'm just my brain is like Swiss cheese for remembering stuff.
Yes, man.
Like I used to be like at uni, they'd be like, oh, they used to say when IMDb first started, they were just like, oh, that's you. You are right. You are IMDb. Like you're the guy that we ask, or who was this character in this thing? I don't have that now. I know what I like, and I can kind of put a sentence together occasionally, but like the details of stuff, I don't have the time and the energy, or even possibly the mental capacity to remember all this stuff.
Yeah, now that I've gotten older, I'll forget the simple shit, like somebody's name, like John Saxon or somebody. One time I forgot Al Pacino's freaking name, and I was like, oh my god, where's my brain going?
Yeah,
how can I forget that? You know what I mean? And then right after, I'll remember. I'll be sitting here and I'm like, oh, and I'll be live. And as soon as I get off live, I remember all of it right away.
Yeah, that's it. Sometimes it just comes up in the moment, and sometimes you're reaching for a while, you know.
Yeah. I'll let you cut any of my trivia tournament that I had several months ago or not, but that was.
I did see some of it. Yeah. And this is the thing. I know I'd be terrible at that now. I used to do quizzes and stuff in like, we used to do like a weekly quiz in a pub when I was at university, and we'd go over it was over the road from where we all lived, and they used to hate us because you'd win a crate of beer, and every week we'd go in and win the crate of beer. There's my friend Dan, who was like he was also doing film related stuff. He was even better than me, so if I didn't know it, he'd know it. We used to just win the crate of beer and then go home. Like, yeah, we were hated by the locals.
Yeah.
But now, no chance. There'll be some 15-year-old who knows 10 times more than me.
Yeah, and it's just random. Sometimes know more than do other times. Like I got so much knowledge. It's like when you get so much knowledge of all this stuff that doesn't mean that much, but stuff that matters to us. It's like it pushes some of the knowledge out. You know, it's like you bring something new in, and there's like no room anymore. It just shoves it out, especially as you get older.
I think that's it. That's it. I'll kind of. Oh, cool.
This is this tackles, especially this being 74, 75. This tackles subjects that were really, really touchy at the time, like abortion and shit like that. You know, they took a lot of balls for him to throw that in there. No one else was doing that.
Yeah, it stands up. I can't remember the two sequels that well. Like I know one of them is okay or pretty good, and one of them's terrible. Not sequels or whatever, remakes or whatever.
Yeah.
And
the sixth one's not bad. It just shows Billy. To me, that takes some away from it. I love how this. You never know what he looks like. Like we don't even know for sure if that's Billy. We just get it.
Well, that's the scary thing. He could still be at large, couldn't he? And that's what it leaves you. It leaves you with this horrible
with her sedated,
feeling. Yeah, yeah.
alone with him in the house. The cop's outside the house, standing by the door, and she's inside. And it's like you give a little bit of time there, and a few seconds later, the phone starts ringing. And in this, when the phone's ringing, that means he has killed a victim. So that lets you know that
Oh.
he has killed her.
Oh, right. Do you know the funny thing, like you said about the comedy moments, like it doesn't. It's not like a filler. It's really
Yeah.
good stuff. Like this is like kind of a bit like vaudeville or something, but she's great. Like everybody in their individual, very defined characters, really cool, funny little character actors that make the film feel more rounded. Like if this, I watched that film yesterday. I watched this film, Clown in a Cornfield, right?
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
So I watched it because it was I won't say anything too deep about it, but like it's got something to do with the guy who did Tucker and Dale versus Evil, which I really enjoyed, and I was like, okay, oh, there we go. So I was like, right, oh, I might give this a go. But all the things that I just said that they do in here with the characterization and the different defined characters and not spelling things out, they didn't do any of that. It was like the same as, like, say, Heart Eyes or anything that I've watched this year, like 2025 thing. It's not got the subtlety and the attention to detail that a film like this has.
There's a few good ones coming out now. Strange Darling was really good.
I've not seen
Substance, of course, was a good one. That right there is the best body horror there's been. To me, Coralie Fargi that did The Substance is showing Cronenberg and his son how it should be done now, in my opinion.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, I did enjoy it. I thought it was a real shame that Demi Moore didn't win an Oscar for that. Because horror, it's very rare, isn't it?
Yeah, it's we're talking about the flaws of the characters. Every character has a flaw. Even the sweet, seemingly innocent Olivia Hussey, the Jess character, she's still pregnant and planning on having an abortion. That's far from perfect. So it's like even the two-twos isn't.
Yeah, and her boyfriend is a dick as well. The way he deals with it, like he doesn't support her or talk to her about it in a way that is any kind of like what a man should do, and like that is very much like again quite a brave choice for the director to do, not to just be like, oh, this girl is bad. It's like the guy is worse.
He's got something. Yeah, he's got something going on wrong up here, and that's why they kind of lead you to that red herring of him being maybe the killer, and it keeps you wondering,
Definitely, and it doesn't just hit you over the head with it, though. It's not like, oh, he's crazy and like he's doing crazy. He's just doing enough to come across as a bit strange, which would fit with Billy. Like,
well, Bob Clark kind of alluded to the fact that Peter, the Keir Dullea character, her boyfriend, that he might have actually killed a couple of the girls. That he might have actually at least killed one of them. You know what I mean? He kind of alluded to the fact that he might have. He didn't say for sure, but Bob Clark was kind of like that. He was kind of ornery in that sense. He loved alluding but not saying. He might have, or maybe he didn't. It's like, oh, you motherfucker.
Isn't it funny as well, the generational stuff that you see, like the dad? Like this guy's probably like younger than I am now. He's probably I'm like 46. He's probably like 42, but he looks about 102. And like he doesn't understand his daughter's generation. It's all like shocking to him.
I love this shit that's up on the wall. He's got all different thing, and then this one flip off. The peace sign of the two having sex with the guy right between the legs. Puts her hands up there and blocks it. He's already seen all that shit. He was looking right at it. He knows. That's why he makes the comment. That's why he says, I don't like the environment.
And what about that poster with the granny? Is that a famous? I've never seen that poster. Is that a famous poster of the granny doing that? Because I've never seen that before.
It seems like maybe my mom or somebody mentioned that at one particular time. That she remember seeing that. Maybe I don't remember.
Because it's like there's famous posters that people have on their walls at university or college or whatever that are like the tennis player scratching her butt and the plan ahead with the D down the side of it and like these kind of things that everybody sees. But I've never seen that one. But then it might be a Canadian or American thing.
Yeah. She stood her head. She actually thinks that he's seen it. I mean, she's so obvious about it, and you know she smells like booze. You know what I mean? Because she's
got it hidden everywhere.
You know she does. And this is a guy you can tell that he doesn't drink much. He's a stiff type dude. You know what I mean? He's definitely a straight laced type fella. So you can imagine what he's thinking here.
It's so funny that we've jumped to this kind of funny side of things while someone's missing. We've seen a horrific murder. We've had some really explicit phone calls.
She was killed right in that room. Yeah, she was smothered to death right there. That part is so scary because he's in there meowing, and you could tell that's not the cat. So you can imagine how terrifying that was. Like, she showed a lot of balls just going there to that closet. I don't think I would have. I'd have been like, no, thank you, or I'd have taken a ball bat or something.
Yeah.
You could tell that wasn't the cat meowing in there. It was like, because she's like, Claude? That right there told you that she was like, wait a minute.
It's funny, like this kind of really dark wood sort of places. It's a bit like, I didn't really enjoy the film very much, but in the last Halloween film, right at the beginning with the kid falling down the stairs, that's the best bit of the whole film.
Yeah.
And these places with these big open staircases, you do get a little bit of a kind of shudder because there's always the chance someone's gonna fall.
Yeah.
When my dad was in the building trade and like there was he used to do the flats at like apartments and stuff, and there was always a rule back in the 50s and 60s of how high the barriers had to be and how high the things. As time has gone by, people have kind of changed that, and now it's probably there's more chance of people falling off things now than there was even back then.
Right. Yeah, come on, Claude, you little prick. And then there's the dude sticking his head up there. He's like, oh my God, these fucking women. This is the fucking house mother.
And the plastic bag around the face thing, it's almost like a mafia. You only really see that in like a mafia style film or something.
Right.
I don't know if I've seen it in if there's been another horror film before this where someone's killed someone like that I can think of. Maybe a Giallo. I'm not sure, but
yeah. This for years kind of set kind of unnoticed. Here in America, it was called Stranger in the House. When I first seen it, that's what it was called. I didn't know it was Black Christmas until like later 80s, early 90s. And the American name was Stranger in the House. There was a couple other names too. Greg says Oscars are a scam, and he set up if you don't know or a friend with the right. Well, it's that that's why the Golden Globes, they're chosen by the people. Where the Oscars is kind of like a committee that kind of decides. That's why Marlon Brando and Sean Penn and people like that just didn't pay it much mind.
Yeah.
You got that poster now, huh? That's cool.
Oh man, yeah.
Art Tried and Terrifier. Yeah. Are you a big fan of Giallo and stuff like that?
Yeah. I mean, particularly Argento. I do like Argento films. Like I would say, Suspiria is one of my top films of all time. I tried watching. People have been telling me to watch the new one for ages and ages and ages. I've tried, and maybe I'm just predisposed not to like it because I love the original so much, and I couldn't get into it. If I'm honest, I'm about halfway through.
Right? Yeah. To me, it's just a little too long. You know what I mean? It's just a little drug out.
I think everything about it, like she took 2 years to learn to dance for that film. I don't know if you need to take 2 years to learn to dance to be in a movie as a dancer. I don't know, maybe, but that seems a little.
That's serious dedication, man. I mean, you gotta give her that,
Yeah, totally. She must. Maybe she's just like the world's biggest Argento fan, and she's like, I'm going to be in the new Suspiria. I better go and learn to dance for 2 years.
Well, yeah. Well, she was at least knowledgeable to know that was a big deal.
Here we go, the little kid drinking the booze here, and
yes. She's getting the drugs out of the little bugger snugger.
Yeah, she's do you know what I was thinking about? Is it a strange When a Stranger Calls? Is it called When a Stranger Calls?
With Carol Kane, which was the other one around this time.
I don't know if is that a Canadian film?
I do believe. It might be.
It has a similar feel. It's not as good as this, but I like it. Not the sequels appalling, but
After we had that conversation that day, I actually went through. I'm gonna see if it's in this tablet. I actually went through and wrote down all of the Canadian horror that I could come across, especially for this. So let me see if I can find it. Because I actually wrote that down for a couple hours. I wrote these things down after we talked that day because I got really interested in it.
Well, this is it. I mean, I'm a big fan of movies with snow in them, so that'll go for Canada, and trains, and like you said, Terror Train. Yeah, and I think a lot of my favorite actors are Canadian comedians. They're just, I don't know, it's just something about the place. There's definitely a pull towards it. I've always wanted to visit Canada. It's very unlikely I ever will. I was a big fan of Bret Hart. I think that might have something to do with it.
Bret is my favorite, man.
So I've got friends. Oh, my auntie lived in Canada for a while, so it's like just little things like that where I'm like, oh, I just know all the, like, somebody will go, oh, Edmonton, or I'll go, oh, Chris Benoit, or Calgary, oh, Bret Hart, Calgary Stampede, and I'll be like, oh, Winnipeg, Chris Jericho. So it's like these things just kind of bounce around your head, don't they?
Let me see here. Yeah, I went through and I wrote all of these freaking down. Because I it's something that I really never delved into before. I mean, I've done a lot of Canadian horror, but I never just thought of thinking about it as just as it being its own subject and actually going through the films. So I got really interested in that day.
Yeah, it's like that. I don't know if they all count as Canucksploitation or because this might not, but it's hard, isn't it? Because some of these films that, like we've talked about, that we give absolute 5 stars to, absolutely brilliant, I would see it as like as good as any high art, highfalutin thing. I think it is high art. I think it is very, this, and like I said with Suspiria and a few other films that I'd give 5 stars it. But there are definitely people who don't see it that way. It's a horror film, therefore it is exploitation, therefore it is trash, but that you couldn't be further from the truth. There's a lot of artistry and skill that goes into making these.
Yeah, I think Last House on the Left gets a lot of crap unnecessarily. People don't understand why things are done. You know what I mean? Like, they look at the cops as being goofy. Yeah, they are goofy, but there's a reason for that. It's to give you that relief from all that tension, because David Hess is scarier and shit in that movie, man.
Man, yeah, so scary. I find it a hard film to watch, if I'm honest. Yeah,
it is. Yeah. It is. The 70s were great because they had everything. To me, that's the best. I mean, there's always this thing about, is 70s horror better or is 80s horror better? Well, if you're talking about slashers, it's 80s. But if you're talking about horror as a whole, it's the 70s, because you got so many subgenres hitting in the 70s.
Yeah, and I think that there's a reaction to what people have gone through in Vietnam. And people still processing that. So you get films like I Spit on Your Grave, you get the Wes Craven films. I Spit on Your Grave is another one that I think is high art, absolutely like amazing. But it's a very, very difficult film to watch. But I do think what makes it work for me, and I always need to see this, is that the punishment outweighs the crime. So like, they definitely get what they deserve. I need to see that. If Night Train Murders example as well, like I need to see the things that they do if they're really, really bad, and I have to endure that, and the person in the film has to endure that, then the punishment has to be like way worse for me to be happy.
Like I Drink Your Blood. That's another really good one, man. It's where they definitely get theirs at the end. It's the one where the kid gives all the people, all the bad guys, rabies, and it ends up going to the whole town.
Yeah, I think I've seen that, but a long time ago. Do you know Larry's mentioned Final Sacrifice, and I was like, that sounds really familiar. And then knowing Larry, he may have been the same as me. We've both seen it, I think, on Mystery Science Theater first.
Right.
Yeah, because a lot of these films that maybe some of them I went on to absolutely love or love because they're so funny, I probably did see them first on Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah, that's why one of the documentaries I'm going to do is going to be 70s exploitation.
Yeah, man.
Volky first. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next, but I'm going to do Hooper because I think Hooper is very underrated. I'm going to do Romero. I'm going to do horror from 1980, and I'm going to do 70s exploitation. I'm going to do all these documentaries. I'm like I said, I just finished with the Fulci. It's close to an hour, and it'll be debuting Monday. And I worked really hard on that one. That was a total labor of love. Hopefully, it goes over well. If not, I made it for me, not for everybody else, and I'm very happy with it. And that's good enough for me.
Yeah, man, that's a good way to think about it. Yeah, that's a good way to approach it. I try and do that myself. I'll try and there's certain things that if I do them on my channel, I know that they'll get more traction, and then but the problem with that is I then forget to do, you know, or I might think, oh, I'd rather do, I'm not doing what I want to do, so then I pull back, and it's tricky because, for example, I really like the 70s sex comedies, and if I watch them and talk about them or do anything about them, then people tend to watch them on my channel. But I don't want that to be all that I talk about, because there's so much more that, and my mind bounces from one thing to another, that I might not feel like talking about that. So it's a tricky one, but yeah, I think you best just following your even though finding a niche usually equals more views, does it mean that you're going to enjoy what you're doing as much? Probably not. So just do what you want to do.
I'm enjoying and having more fun now. I don't get the views I used to get because I just don't do much content anymore. Hardly ever do you see me do something new. It's a watch along rewind, or it's just something just tossed out there that's a couple of minutes long. I don't, so I don't have the algorithm, and I don't have the viewership that I used to, but I'm a lot happier than what I was, and I'm doing stuff that I really love. And, and if people come along with me, that's great. If not, I'm all good, man. I'm all good. If this new documentary I worked on for months only gets 50 viewers, I'm fine with that because I fucking love it. I think it's great. Hopefully everybody digs it.
Yeah, it's good to not take what you're doing seriously, but not take yourself too seriously, if that makes sense. So like I've kind of deleted. I shouldn't have done it really. I should have privated them, but anyway. But I wasn't happy with some stuff on my channel, and I went through and I culled about. And this isn't an exaggeration, but I culled like 250,000 views, and I know that has really hurt my channel, and I'm gonna have to rebuild it if I want to.
Yeah.
But to a certain degree, it now means that everything that's on there I'm happy with. So, even though it is definitely hurt my channel. It's just not my. It's not really what I should be thinking about anyway. So screw it.
Well, yeah, I've got two videos. Like my PJ Souls videos got like 115,000 views. And then that actually the video that me and Dan from Flesh Wound Features did, it has 150,000, I do believe, views on it. So I got two big videos, but I privated a bunch of the others, ones that I just didn't like very much, ones I didn't really care about being on there. So
and that's what I should have done. Really, I shouldn't have acted so hastily.
Sometimes we do, man. You know what I mean? It's so easy on here, especially when you're getting videos with 150-some thousand views on it. It's so easy to take yourself too seriously and start getting happy with yourself. And me, I've got an overactive ego anyway. I mean, everybody knows that. I'm a nice guy, but I'm also an egomaniac. I'll admit it. But I really went down a bad path with that, and I almost became someone that I didn't like.
Right.
To be honest. And I got control of myself, and
well, it's good. It's good to know yourself well enough to know that, if that makes sense. Yeah.
I've come a long way since then. I always been a nice guy, but at times I really did start thinking I was actually something. And it was like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah. I mean, if anything, I'm like probably the least competitive person. And that's probably to a fault, really. Sometimes, like if I'm playing a game against somebody, I'm just like, hey, if you really seem to want to win, so go ahead.
Yeah.
Which is sometimes to my own detriment, you know. So I've tried to balance, like, so what I think in my sort of mid to late 40s that I'm in, that I'm now more open to the fact that I'm good at some stuff and I'm rubbish at other stuff. And I accept both of those things the same. And if somebody wants
Yeah.
to give me a compliment, I'm not going to go, oh no, 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 no. I'm just going to go, thank you very much, I appreciate that, and
Right.
just take it. And I think that that's just as important, but it's a constant finding the balance, isn't it?
It
So
really is,
yeah,
man. We're all only people. We're all just people in the end. We're susceptible to all the dumb shit. It happens.
yeah,
So, you know, the thing of it is when you get to, like I'm 52. So, you know, by the time you get to be that age, you really should be able to get a hold of yourself and just realize this for what it is. If you can't have fun doing it, then don't do it. That's the way I look at it. If I'm having fun, if I'm doing something and it's not fun, I stop right away.
yeah, yeah. Speaking of like personalities and like big personalities and things, I just was watching Margot Kidder, and I was just looking at it, I just thought, I just find that so attractive. Like, Olivia Hussey is beautiful to look at, but
Yes.
Margot Kidder has an attractive personality and as a person, and
Yeah.
I just think that is so rare.
Yeah. There's so
And
many kinds. There's so many kinds of
yeah,
beauty.
yeah, oh, totally. And I find that so attractive in somebody. Like, I don't
Oh,
like, if I meet someone and like if they've got something about them, a little bit of spark and sense of humor, and that is so attractive in a person.
it
And
is.
like, yeah, you know, that she's a good example of that. And like I said before, Carrie Fisher would be one.
Yeah.
There's loads
Oh,
of
yeah.
opportunities for male actors to kind of show their charisma and do a tour de force, whether it's like you know, Brando or whoever. You know, Brando's my favorite actor of all time, and like, you know,
Really? Cool.
only, you know, because of Streetcar Named Desire, and
Oh, yeah.
but on the waterfront, but you don't get many.
Ooh.
You didn't get any major. You know, even in the 70s, you wouldn't have a film that was like anchored by Margot Kidder doing a role like
Right.
in On the Waterfront or something from the 50s. So
Yeah.
like, it to even show your personality and get to show your personality. You talked about Amy Steele. It's so cool, and I'm really drawn to those actors, and I'm drawn to those characters in females, because I just think it's so
It's the same
difficult
way
for
in
them to
music.
even get to do it. Yeah,
The same way in music, there's a ton of people out there that can sing their ass off, but do they have that charismatic lead voice? You can get like, for instance, frontman, like say Axl Rose. He had charisma all over the place. His voice wasn't that great, especially live, but he had this
Yeah.
charisma that people couldn't deny. There's a
True.
lot of things out there that was much better. I mean, much better
Yeah.
live, and still
People are
are.
drawn to him. Yeah, people are drawn to him as a person and the whole
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, the whole thing rather than just the voice. Yeah.
Michael, oh God, what's his name? Michael, fuck, I can't
Even
remember.
Ozzy's a good example of that as well.
Oh God, yeah. But you know, you got a lot of people that can sing their ass off, but it doesn't mean you want to see them. You want to go see them, or you want to listen to them. I've heard many people that can sing better than a lot of my favorite singers. My favorite singers, they've just got that certain something, that got charisma in their voice.
Yeah.
Same thing with actors.
Yeah, and
Remark that.
it can move you one way or another. Like, it can move
Yeah.
you to tears, or to just move you. You know, like there was somebody said about my favorite singers, Jeff Buckley, and somebody said like a song that can raise you to tears. And I was like, that I've never heard of that before. Like, raising, like literally uplifting you so much that it makes you emotional. And I was like, wow, I never thought about it that way.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe as I'm getting older, it's easier to do that. I don't know. My dad's 90, and he's always getting tearful.
Well, it's just when you get older, you begin to see past the facade. You know, you get like this facade. When you're younger, you just kind of see this. You just kind of see right here. As you get older, you learn to see around it.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's wisdom.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you're right.
You see, like, there's so much things I look at now that I was aware of when I was younger, but now I see so much more in it. I see what's important, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I'm not as like determined to prove people wrong as much as I used to be, or
Right.
like
It just doesn't matter, does it?
yeah, there's things I used to really get into at work that were like, seemed so important, And
Just
now
doesn't
I'm
matter.
like, yeah, I remember once, and somebody says to me like, "Oh, what could we do?" And this was when I read things really clicked. Somebody, what could we do to make you stay? And I was like, promotion, no. This, no. The answer was absolutely nothing, because I don't want what you can give me. I'm quite happy in myself, and I think once you reach that, you're like, oh, that's cool. Like that's a good way to be, definitely, rather than kind of fighting for stuff. And then when you get there, you realize you didn't want it in the first place.
Yeah, this funny that you were talking about that, because I don't know if you've seen my post yesterday, but this struck me yesterday, and I started talking about what was important, and I put a post up on my channel talking about this exact thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, it's right there. It's weird that you mentioned that, because I have a post up there right now from yesterday where I was talking about how certain things just don't matter anymore. Yeah, it's let me see. Yeah.
Yeah.
It starts out with, as we get older, there comes a time when where there is less to prove, and then I go
Yeah,
on.
totally. Yeah, you're right, man. I agree.
I
Speaking of
agree.
completely changing the subject, but just I've seen the comments, people talking about Silent Night, Deadly Night, which I love the whole series, even though like
Yeah,
I don't think they're not like this film, but like the second one is just bonkers and fun, and then you've got the Yuzna one later on, and you've got all kinds
yeah,
of crazy shenanigans going on. I do want to see the new one. I don't live near a cinema anymore. Like it's a bit of a trek to get to a cinema. So now I live out in the country, and there's not. I hardly ever go. Whereas I used to go when I was in the city. I used to go like twice a week. This
right,
might be one if I can convince someone in my. And I used to go on my own, but it'd be nice to go with somebody and see this.
right.
Maybe I'll go and see it this Saturday if it's
Hope
out.
it's
I think
good.
it's out. It's out in the UK, but
Hope it's good, because the
um,
first one I see. Man, I have a story about that too. When I went and seen the 1984 Silent Night Deadly Night at the theater, and I told this story many times before, but I'll go ahead and tell it again. My mom took me. I was 11 years old because I was born in '73. So I was 11 years old, 11 and a half or so. And believe it or not, there was an older man there, probably, probably his 50s or maybe older. But he had brought a
yeah.
little girl in there. I swear to God, this
Oh
is totally
man,
total truth. She was probably 6 or 7 years old. After that first part
traumatized.
where that Santa Claus kills Billy's parents and shit, this
Yeah.
little girl was screaming and hollering, and he picked her up and ran out of there. She was hollering. I remember my mom saying, "What in the hell did that man bring this little girl to this movie for?" And now thinking about it, I think
Wow.
about was really, what the hell did he think it was about? The poster had a Santa Claus reaching out of the chimney with an axe.
Do you
What,
think he was just that simple that he was just like, oh, it's got Santa in it,
I guess, because it made no sense at all. I remember people in the theater just looking at him like, what the hell?
That's
It was
bonkers.
stupid.
It happens so much that people just don't seem to have a
Common
brain cell
sense,
when it
man.
comes to
Yeah.
for what you put your kids in front of. Like I'm not for like censorship. I'm for like people
But
working
use your
stuff out
head.
for themselves, giving people but like some people they need guiding by the hand.
Use your head. I mean, it's
Yeah,
simple common sense. I mean, it makes you wonder how this fucker got through the first 50 years of his life.
yeah,
That's just
yeah.
ridiculous.
I
I mean,
hope
it's not like the
she.
poster
Yeah,
misled
I
you.
hope she
The
got over
poster
that.
told you what it was, you know?
Do you know what?
That was all about a
Do you know
week,
what, Keith?
and then
That's
they took it off.
a weird thing that just popped in my head when she's picking up this phone. When I was talking about my experience, just thinking about that little girl in the cinema. Our phone was
Yeah.
exactly that color. It was green, just like that. It was the
Yeah.
same rotary phone, green.
Yep.
I don't know whether we had them in the same as in Canada or what have you, but
We had a
it just
cream one in that color. It was
made me
cream
feel
colored.
sick just
But
thinking
it's
about it.
dumbasses like that dude is why that film got taken out after a week in the cinema. It's dumb shit like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it got
Well,
banned.
the weird thing about the Silent Night, Deadly Night thing is like Mickey Rooney being one of the ones railing against it, how terrible it was, and then ends up
He
being in
was
one
in
of the
it.
sequels.
Yeah.
Have you seen? I didn't realize this, but have you seen what Mickey Rooney's son looked like in the 80s? So he was on a Mickey Rooney Jr. I think and he
Huh.
looks like Ric Flair. He's got like the big blonde shoulder
Yeah.
length. I was like, no way. Yeah, man. You have to check it out. I think it's on Geraldo or something. And I was
wow.
it just looks insane. He looks like either like a cross between Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair. So funny.
Okay. This house, I mean, it looks cozy and it's a badass house. Don't get me wrong, but it also looks very cold. They picked a great house to put this in because it's got an ominous vibe to it.
Yeah, and you know what? You're right as well. Even though it's ominous and it's got all the things that make it scary, it's not so dark that you can't see what's going on. The clothes are bright in the right places, like you say. There's cozy elements. There's oranges and yellows and reds, and there's light from the phone and the lamps. So it's a lot of thought's gone into the way it looks. Whereas now you'll watch a film sometimes and it'll be so dark. Don't know what the fuck's going on. And I must say this a million times, but one of the conceits of watching a film is you're watching a film, therefore light it so we can see what's going on.
Right. Like, I love Humongous. Humongous is a great early 80s horror film, but it's so dark is why people don't like it, because you can't see a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Humongous is great. If we could only see it, people would. I really wish it was more lit up, because I really sing this movie's praises. It's called Humongous.
Well, look at this. Look at the scene that we're watching now. The light on the right-hand side and her yellow top, they pop from the screen. It almost looks like a red and green light on the right-hand side. Looks like a Christmas card, and his sweater is like a Christmas card.
Yeah, it's got great color. The colors in this remind me a lot of Night Gallery episodes.
Right.
Night Gallery was great with the early 70s color, because it started in 69 and ended like 72, 73. That was great for red and shit.
I've heard of it. It's a bit like Night Gallery and Night Stalker are two things that I've only seen a little bits of. Kolchak and and I've liked bits that I've seen. Same with like the old Twilight Zones. The ones I've seen I really enjoyed. Particularly the one with William Shatner on the plane, because I like plane and train and films. I like planes, trains, snow, water. I don't know. I like almost like bottle things where you're just kind of trapped in a certain thing, and I know what I'm going to get. Snow, trapped in a house or whatever.
But
I mean,
this guy Nash. Sorry, this guy Nash. I just kind of want to make a point. You know, the guy that plays the dipshit cop Nash. He's the guy that's laughing his ass off in Porky's. He's the coach that keeps laughing his ass off. And the other coach is sleeping with Kim Cattrall. He's the one that's hiding behind the mat laughing.
Oh, so Lassie.
That's him.
Yeah. Do you know? I loved that film when I watched that. When I first saw that film, I was like, again, a bit like this. I was like, oh, I didn't know you could do that. Like, it was the first American sex comedy that I'd seen, and and it's like when I think I was probably in my 20s or something, or late teens, and I watched American Pie, and I was just like, oh, this isn't as good as Porky's.
Since his Twilight Zone and Night Gallery are so good, Kolchak needs to be brought back. Yeah, my mom used to watch that all the time. Had a red rotary, really liked them.
It's got a really unusual, isn't it? Like the Night Stalker, and like it's a really unusual, because it's not like Magnum PI or something, or which I love, but it's not like Highway to Heaven or like a serial show. It's a weird serial show with weird stuff in it, and I like it, and I like the way he plays that character too.
They don't make those anymore like they did then, and that's too bad. Every now and then they'll come out with some kind of an anthology series. It just doesn't seem to hit.
They don't even make things like the A-Team anymore. You know, like when you have the A-Team, where every week they'd be in a different place doing a different thing, but you've got your core people. And it was so much fun. And I was thinking, I used to love that as a kid. It's not going to be as good if I watch it back. I watched a couple of episodes of the A-Team the other week, and I was like, on one of these channels that plays things 24/7, and I was like, "Oh man, that was so much fun! I really enjoyed that." You know, don't have it. Yeah, just don't have
that's
it anymore.
What we're missing. Even the fucked up shows were fun somehow. They had a fun element to them.
Yeah, definitely.
I think things are taken so seriously now. People are so afraid to say the wrong thing, and just it's just
maybe that's it. Yeah, I think maybe as well they're just like, I don't know there's a confusion about how to promote things and what to throw money at, because people kind of do their own promotion for stuff now. So like the actors are on TikTok and Instagram and all this kind of stuff, and it's like they can't necessarily throw, like studios can't necessarily throw their weight behind stuff in the same sort of way and get the same people, because not everyone's consuming media in the same way. So I just don't know. I just think no one's got a clue of how to do stuff. So that like a new Marvel film will come out and they'll go, okay, it costs 500 million, and then they'll go, oh yeah, no one's watching this shit. All right, let's just put it straight on Disney Plus and everyone forget about it, and then there'll be another one next week. And you're like, what's going on? That's crazy. Like, there's crazy stuff going on.
It's almost, they've almost brought the major studios down to the level of the independent, because now that is one thing about now is the independent filmmakers and independent game makers and all that now actually have an avenue to create where they didn't.
And like a YouTuber can be super popular without any support from anyone, you know. And the weird one is like I watched that film Milk and Cereal as like an hour film, like a found footage kind of horror, and I thought it was absolutely brilliant. Curry Barker. Now I looked online the other day, and they've given him a studio film, like a horror film that he's doing, and I think he's from the same kind of background as the guy who did Weapons and Barbarian and that kind of thing. But like that film was amazing last year, and it was 1 million so people watched it for free, and he released it on YouTube. And like you can do that and make there's a lot of good stuff on there. I couldn't believe it. It's mad.
At least back like when George Romero and Toby Hooper and all them were doing that, they had to work so hard just to get it to where everybody would see it. They had to take the film around to different people and just try to get somebody to distribute it. Now, at least with YouTube and shit, we have a place where we can just distribute it ourselves. And so in that way, it's better. I just wish creative mind was a little better. Because now, instead of creating something new, everybody seems to want to make a remake or a sequel. If all the people from the 70s, if Toby Hooper and Romero and Craven and all of them would have thought that way back then, we wouldn't have the classics we have now.
Yeah, you're right. And like someone like Romero's, you know, shooting adverts and corporate videos and things like that with it, but it's all about that group of people that you can get around you, a bit like John Carpenter did as well. You get a great group of people around you. They're just as important as the main person who's got the name at the top of it. And it's like, you know, in a way, they find their way to the top. Now there's such a deluge of stuff that it's hard to choose, and sometimes you just choose nothing, and people will, like, I wonder how many people just sit and scroll through films and never watch one most nights. To get people's attention is really hard.
To keep it,
and get it, like they're probably happy if the algorithm for whatever it is like if somebody sits and watches a film for a minute, that counts as a view or whatever, and then they're happy with that. So does it really matter what the rest of the film is like?
That's what I worry about
Christmas
with my new documentary. It's good, but you've got to give it a chance to get into it. It's going to be about it's like an hour long, but you know I'm afraid there's going to be a lot of 1 and 2 minutes and everything. You actually got to watch it, because I cover all of Fulci's horror that he did from like 71 to like his last shit in probably 83 with Manhattan Baby. Give it some time. Don't just watch it for a minute or two and be like, okay, I'm done with this. Give it a chance, you know? That's
you have to have a little bit. It pays off, doesn't it? Like it pays off. You know, like we were saying before, it can go so far the other way where you can watch a film and nothing's happening for a long, long time. You think this needs to be an hour and a half. But then there's other films where you could watch them. You're like, oh, I could watch this forever. I've surrendered to the film and I'm really enjoying it. Like the one that always springs to mind with that, people probably disagree with me and say that he needed his editor, but I really like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood because I just love being in that world. Like I love being in that Manson era stuff. I'd watched and read a lot of books about all that sort of stuff, and I'd listened to podcasts about it. And I just wanted to be in that Hollywood world with Tarantino directing me from these different places. Even though it was nearly 3 hours long, I probably could have had another 45 minutes of it.
Yeah, that's the key. You don't want to be left with people thinking, okay, when's this going to be over? You want to leave people wanting more, and it's really hard to find that medium.
Yeah, usually I'm of the school like this film, for example, is an hour 30 something.
But it
That's
flies by.
perfect. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what you need. You don't want to be looking at your watch going, okay, when's it going to be over? You want
Yeah,
it
well,
to
why are we
end and
watching
go,
like
"Dang."
a comedy released direct to Amazon? Why is it 2 hours long? Like,
Right.
what are we doing? Like, do I need to see like endless riffing with no editing and no real jokes and just like comedy's really struggling. There's not a lot of
Oh yeah.
modern good
Comedy is
comedies.
the
There's
hardest thing in the world to pull off.
yeah.
Hardest
Well,
thing in the world to pull off is a good
it's
comedy. Oh man.
it's like all my favorite comedies are like probably late 70s onwards, like Airplane, The Jerk. These are all my like I think of like a film like Tommy Boy as quite a modern film that I like, but we're talking 1990 whatever 7 or something.
30 years, yeah, yeah. So, I like there's a Coming to America, Harlem Nights,
Yeah. Oh,
some
Coming
of
to
the
America's
early Chevy Chase
amazing.
shit, like Seems Like Gold Times with Goldie Hawn. That's a fucking
Yeah.
hilarious show, man.
Yeah. Yeah. There's load of great. I mean, there's still funny stuff. Don't get me wrong, and it's just finding it, but it's not mainstream funny stuff where it's like the movie
Right.
everyone's talking about and going to see. Um, it's more likely like I'll watch to laugh if I really want to laugh. I'll watch like a Mystery Science Theater or riff tracks or I'll watch something or I'll watch a deliberately not deliberately, but I'll watch like an amazing B movie or bad movie like The Room or Miami Connection or something like that because I know I'm going to just really switch my brain off and have such a great laugh.
Yeah. Comedies I would never want to make a comedy, man. It is so hard to pull
So
off.
difficult. That's what I was saying to David Zucker. I was just like, when I interviewed him, and and I was just like, Top Secret and Airplane and all that. Well, the thing is, what they were doing was there was 3 of them, and they were making each other laugh, and they trusted in the fact that if they could make each other laugh, then other people would find it funny. They didn't have any notes from anyone. They didn't try and meet any criteria. It was just funny. It was just like they just went for what they believed in, and they didn't. Another thing they had no ego. So when they were writing these films, they couldn't tell you who came up with the joke out of the 3 of them. Like I was like,
awesome.
like whose was that line? Was that yours, or was there any lines that you fought for? I'm like, no. Like if we laughed, it was in. If we didn't laugh, it wasn't in. I can't remember who wrote it, and that made me actually quite emotional because I was like, "That's really sweet," and it's just such a nice. Anyone who's going to be successful in things like that has to be collaborative, and to be collaborative, you have to accept that someone might be better at something than you might be better than them at that, and that's okay. Like you're doing this together, you're going to help each other get better, and that's very very rare.
You want to avoid lead singer's disease, yeah. For sure.
yeah.
You don't want to go, hey, that was mine. I did it.
Yeah. That's why they all split up, isn't it? That's why they all split up.
It is. Yeah, it is. Especially when you get 2 or 3 people in the band or the group and they all think that way.
Yeah. Or like you're like Martin and Lewis or something, like
they come up with good stuff briefly, and then all of a sudden you don't see them doing shit together anymore. Because they're all so full of themselves. It's like, hey, that was great. What are you guys doing? Well, we're not doing anymore. Or he did this, and the other person will be like, no, he did this. It's like, okay, I see we had a group of egos going on. That's why you're not together.
It's like Abbott and Costello or Three Stooges. There's moments where it's like they suddenly one of them would start saying, "Why am I the one who always gets hit?" Or why am I the one who why is it always me that everyone's laughing at and not with? And like, well, that's how this dynamic works, mate. Like you got to deal with it. Like. But there's becomes such a big deal in their own head.
That's happened with Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise. He got tired because Burt Reynolds was slapping the shit out of him all the time, and he finally got sick of that shit because I guess he was hitting him hard. And finally, he was like, "Dude, you slap me again like that, and we're gonna have a problem." And Dom DeLuise was an easygoing guy, so Burt must have really been nailing him.
I bet you that there's a good correlation of when things are running well. A bit like we're saying about. Bob Clark and the people he worked with, and John Carpenter and George Romero, all these people, when they're all there together, all serving a common purpose, then you get films like this. But when you've got one person or two people who are like constantly bickering, falling out, causing problems, it just doesn't work. It just falls apart. It's crazy though.
Like George Romero said about Night of the Living Dead, like one day he'd be going to get the sandwiches. The next day, George would be going to get the sandwiches. So the way he put it is like, yeah, I have the head as far as the directing and the writing goes, but we all directed it. You know, we all did the cinematography. We all went and got, you know, we were all the you know, the people who went and got the food or whatever. And that's what makes it. That's what made it so great. Is it was a group effort. Just like his first would admit that in his early shit, he didn't know how to direct, so they all did it.
Yeah, and like John Russo, for example, like such a nice guy, and I had a chat with him, and I was always thinking, well, he's gone off and took his own direction with the idea. Did that affect their friendship? Did that, you know, I'm going to go comedic? And no, the answer was like, that's the best thing to do, because otherwise it would cause resentment if we're fighting over stuff and doing it together. So it's time. It's a part of it. Sometimes realizing that you need to go your own ways, and it's better for both of you, even if it's just in Manchester. He was not online, but in person. He came to, there's a thing in Manchester called Weekend of the Dead, and this guy who's like a massive fan of the whole series, of all of them, and he gets all of the people involved, like from every little character, every zombie, every year by year, and it's a really small convention. And this was years ago, and I met him and Russ Striner and what was George Romero's first? Christine Romero. And they were all so sweet and so surprised that anyone was interested in talking about these films. And we just, it was in this little casino in Manchester, and we all had like a meal together, and I had pictures taken and stuff. And it's just so nice. It wasn't like, it was before conventions were like, right, you've got your 2 seconds with somebody, off you go. You know,
they created possibly the most important horror film ever made, and they're that humble about it. You know what I mean? That's just cool.
Yeah, gorgeous. Yeah, really nice people. I sent him the picture of us together when he was back in America, and I was like, oh, we'll have a chat online if you want. Like, and he was like, yeah, we'll do it. But he is so driven. He's still working really hard now and pushing films and selling stuff, and he's really, really busy guy, John Russo. Yeah.
That's cool. This is such a lonely killing. I don't know if that makes sense, but this killing of Barbara is so lonely. It feels so. She's so close to everybody that could help. Yet she's so far away, man. And she's barely.
And then that ties in, doesn't it, though, with her character? Because she's different to everybody else. She's a little bit more rough and ready and a bit more outspoken. That, like, I think that fits the fact that her character is more isolated, because she's independent, fiercely independent, and wouldn't want anyone to help her, if that makes sense. Like, I can look after myself.
Oh man, that's a good point, because I've always felt like this about this killing. Like, if these kids wouldn't have been singing like this, he picked this time to do this because he knew there was a lot of racket, and he knew that it was going to make a little bit of noise. And then she's right there, yet she's in her own bed. You know, it's such a violation, man. It really is. To attack somebody in their own bed while they're asleep, you don't get much more violating than that.
No, man. Anytime anyone's in our home is our safe place, isn't it?
Well, yeah, exactly. Laying in your bed,
supposed to be. Yeah. That's why I find the strangest film, or the original one, really, because there's no rhyme or reason to it. They just appear.
Liv Tyler's brilliant in that, I think, man. She is so good. I don't know why she stopped doing films, but she was really good.
Yeah.
She's
good in Jersey Girl as well. Like, Jersey Girl's an underrated film. George Carlin's really great in that. It's a really good film. It's one of those. It's just a forgotten film.
Like she passed out from being drunk, you know, so she's barely aware of what's happening at this point.
Yeah.
Like she may never completely have grasped it. I don't know. I think once that first time that stabbed into her, I think she probably snapped out of it. Like, holy shit, what's happening? And she's killed with one of her own. You know that's her. That's her unicorn or whatever. And she, man,
Yeah.
in every way, she is completely just done wrong there.
And the way it's shot as well, the sort of everything's cut really strangely as they're doing it. It's haphazard, like his mind is all over the place, and
yeah,
that's what's happening. And you know, it's very like a giallo actually in a lot of ways. That killing.
One Clark's movies are in the same universe, really. I did not know that.
I've only seen A Christmas Story once, and I can't remember much about it because I just remember the shoot your eye out line. But the weird thing about it is that over here it's not really a thing like a big Christmas film over here in the same way.
They just shove it up your ass over here, like it'll be on certain channels for like 24 hours, like from Christmas Eve until that next day on Christmas Day. It'll play over and over and over again on certain channels over here.
For me, it's I go to a local. Well, it's local now, but it didn't used to be a little cinema, and we watch Christmas Eve. We always watch It's a Wonderful Life, and then we've done that every year since probably 2012. The cinema shut down last year, so we couldn't go, and then somebody's bought it again, and it's like a tiny little thing. So
I'm a big Jimmy Stewart fan anyway, man. I love Jimmy Stewart, especially in Rope. To me, Rope is Hitchcock's best film, in my opinion.
That's a good call. I remember. I think maybe the first time I saw him was in Rear Window, maybe, possibly.
You know. You got a lot of people, you know, they either say Rear Window or they say The Birds or they say Psycho. To me, Rope's his best, man. I absolutely love it. Jimmy Stewart is fantastic in it.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Rope, definitely check it out.
I think I have. I'm trying to rack my brain because I got a big box set of all the. When I was studying film, I was like, I better learn me some Hitchcock.
It's the two killers that have killed the friend of theirs, and he's in like a chest, and they have a big party around there, and he's dead in his chest.
Maybe I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's
my mind is wandering. When I see John Saxon, I always think of Nightmare Beach because I love that film. What a film! What a crazy film! That's a sweaty film.
I did a tribute on him. You know, I have his own little section where I did a bunch of tributes on people, and he's one of the ones that I did tribute on. Right. Nancy Allen, PJ Souls, Marilyn Burrs, Marilyn Monroe, Norma Shearer.
Oh, that's a good group.
It's just, you know, I do I play a little music and I put a little collage of photos together with him for a couple of minutes. It's just a little something I like to do here and there.
Oh, that's good, man. Yeah, I did one for some reason. Like, well, there's quite a few, obviously, but I made a little tribute with when Carl Weathers passed away. And I was just like, I think it's just because there was just it really hit me strangely because it was like he was always around, always doing fun stuff. You've got obviously when you're a kid and you see Apollo Creed and you're just like, whoa, this guy's like Muhammad Ali, and Predator, and even like Arrested Development. He's hilarious in Arrested Development. So
I love the Rocky films, man. I was always such a big Rocky head. To me, Rocky 2, I love the original Rocky, and I like them all the way up to 4. 5's decent too, but
I don't mind 5. I quite like 5.
2 is probably the best one. You know, I know that sounds weird to say, but
2 was the first one I saw because you get them in the video shop and you just get whichever ones were available. So I think I watched like 2, 4, 3, 1, 5. Yeah. People forget that, don't they? That you didn't have a choice. Sometimes you go in and be like, "It's not there." Okay, I'll watch the other one.
Right? Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I totally missed those times, man. Of being able to go in the video store and just look around. I'd spend hours just looking, especially a really good one that has a lot of movies. Oh man.
It's so funny. You go to these places, like the ones we had ABBA Video and Hollywood Nights and Video Selector and all these names like made you feel like you were in Hollywood, not in the north of England. And like, you know, it's just a cool thing to see. Like sometimes you could buy the posters. Occasionally there'd be like an arcade machine there. Just like just amazing times. Yeah.
I've always wanted to come to Britain. My son Drake, he's also a big fan of just the whole culture. I love to see a film that's got a lot of British and stuff in it, man. It's just so cool. You guys just talk so fucking cool, man. You just there ain't nothing
Well, you
like
know,
it.
there's some. I mean, some, like the 70s. You like the 70s films, like myself, and a lot of the like Norman Warren films and Pete Walker films from the 70s horror.
Ooh,
People forget about them. They're amazing. Like
Frightmare.
Satan's Slave, yeah, Frightmare, House of Whipcord. Those are amazing
Ooh,
films. And
absolutely.
Satan's Slave is brilliant. Satan's Slave, actually, for me, it's just. I think it's just come on free on Amazon Prime. It's comparable to like Get Out. It's just like a class version where you've got race and Get Out. It's just class in Saint Slave. It's such a great film. Norman Warren is somebody I almost met, and he got really ill and passed away before. And I rate his films a lot. But you know, I'm a big Hammer fan, and
Oh God, yeah.
yeah. So like, yeah, we have definitely got a great horror history. Now it's trickier. It's a bit divided. They don't get the funding in the same way. Like I think Host was a great film. You know, those guys have done. Oh man, that's a good one.
Big nice
Yeah.
version of Frankenstein. I absolutely love this. To me, this and Frankenstein Created Woman is the two best Hammer Frankenstein.
I think yeah, Frankenstein.
I love Christine.
Peter Cushing's best role. I'm a big fan of Corruption, the film he made as well. Really silly, crazy film that he did with lasers in it. But I'm a big fan of Corruption. That might be my favorite indicator box that I've got. It's just a lot of the ones that people like. There isn't really that now in Britain the same way. The closest we have, we've got a lot of people that make a lot of films like the Winnie the Pooh stuff.
Yeah.
There's like a cottage industry with all that. Rob Savage and Jed Shepard, who did Host and Dash Cam, they're great, but like they've not done much for a while. The film industry doesn't support horror films in the UK. Right. So you have to get investment from America to do it if you want to do a really good job. So it's a strange one. I mean, Amicus films were my I probably love them even more than Hammer. They've kind of made a semi comeback now. It's not really the same, but it's it's Kickstarter sort of stuff. I interviewed the guy who owns it now, and like they're doing a good job, and the new one's okay.
Didn't Hammer kind of evolve into Amicus, and then they made things like Asylum and shit like that?
No, Amicus was like half British, half American. So it's like, and then whereas Hammer was always owned by a British company. Now it's owned by an American guy who made his money from Broadway plays. But they're not producing any new films. They're just doing the box sets and stuff. They did the Frankenstein with Eddie Izzard, but that wasn't them. That was the people who went out of business before them. So they've not actually made their own Hammer film. This new Amicus was on Milton Subotsky had the name to that, and his family have lent the name to a Scottish guy who owns it now, who makes sort of low budget films, and he's done the first Amicus anthology, but it was all Kickstarter. But it was okay, actually. It wasn't that bad at all. It wasn't that bad. It has to be all DIY. It has to be all do-it-yourself stuff over here now. But with horror, there isn't any support for horror creators. And the British film industry will put money into. And I've got a friend who is part of the voting on different awards and stuff. And he was saying like they will put money into like some ridiculously worthy period piece, knowing nobody will watch it, and just to give it awards, whereas they could put it into making a really great horror film that lots of people in the UK would watch, but they just won't do that.
I always wished all the countries would have been like Canada was in the 70s, where they actually paid for Cronenberg to make his films, because he wouldn't have been able to get his start if they hadn't done that for him. They had their own little fund. I can't remember what it was called, but that helped pay to make his films.
Yeah, they're very patriotic in that sense, but in a way that's like not snobby. Like that's what I like about Canada. It's kind of got all the best elements of America and the UK, with a lot of the negative elements from the UK and America taken away.
That's good because
I suppose they've been influenced by both, so you know.
I loved how they do that because I mean we wouldn't have Cronenberg if they hadn't done that, and that is so cool.
Yeah, like if you're popular and if you do well in Canada, they'll celebrate you, and you know, like love you, even if it's like cheesy music or like not the greatest film in the world. They'll just be like, "You're Canadian, we love you. Here's an award." You know,
isn't that crazy? That's just crazy because I think that's one thing that America lacks. You know, we claim a lot of support, but we don't really actually get any, especially now with this establishment. So it's like, damn.
Well, we're the same. I think we're the same in a lot of ways because when you know we're not very popular around the world because of colonialism, and you know, you only got to watch the Eurovision Song Contest, and nobody votes for Britain in it. We could have the best song in the entire contest, and we'll all at the end. But yet, we'll always be in it because we help produce the TV show. So it's like that's kind of sums us up, really. Like we're not liked.
Oh, that was cute. He whispers and she looks over at him and he goes, "Hey, Agnes, it's me, Billy." And then he slams the door. It's like, oh shit.
It's almost like, I mean, it's a bit like ASMR, whereas I find that really creepy when people are whispering and like, you know, doing stuff. And they're supposed to be nice. It's supposed to be a nice feeling, but it isn't.
I guess a fucker you never want to run into. You know what I mean? I'm like, you better bring your A game to run into this crazy fucker.
Well, do you know what? I funny thing is, I made a short film, and I put it on my channel, and it's basically like edited. It was inspired by, you know, the Max Headroom So I made like, what would that be like if that happened in the north of England? So I filmed it all together. What I did, I took a lot of the voices out of the adverts and stuff, and then I ran them through a filter to make it sound like they were whispering. And it kind of sounded like Billy. And when I was listening back to it, I was like, geez, this sounds really fucking creepy. And I'd made it.
I had to go check that out. Hell yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah, well, I'll send you a link to it. It was good for, it's only like 20 minutes long, but it's supposed to be that the guy, you can hear the TV like station guy going like, okay, cut to this, cut to that. And then he's on when he shouldn't be on, and the channel changes and the music plays backwards, and you can hear whispering, and the things are leaking, and it goes upside down. And I did put Max is in there. I have actually got the Max Headroom guy from Chicago. He just pops up briefly in it. But yeah, I was really pleased with it. I sent it to a couple of people, and I was like, I don't think many people have watched it, but I sent it to a couple of people, and they're like, oh, that was really good. I enjoyed that. I was like, yeah, man, like, I'm really proud of it, but I don't think anybody will watch it.
Hell yeah, I'll definitely check it out and share the link out, man. Hell yeah.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for that.
Hell yeah.
Look at this, how they have to run to do all the technology, like to find out and put the phone into the... It's crazy.
That's really the most satisfying things, isn't it? Is when, and what's really cool is when you're making something and you come along and you get this feeling. I can't describe it, but when you come along with something really cool, and you know what I mean, while you're creating it, and you get another idea, and it's just such a great feeling when it's all you know what I mean. You've done, when you make your own thing, it's just really a proud feeling. You know what I mean? And that's the feeling I got with this latest project, man. And that's why I want to keep doing it. That's what
I'm looking forward to watching it, because I am a fan of it's for Fulci documentary, isn't it? For some reason I thought you were doing a Bava one, but
I plan on covering a lot of people in the future. Like I said, Toby Hooper, Romero, 70s exploitation. I do want to do Argento and Bava. So yeah, this ought to keep me busy for a long time. This one took me months. I could have had it done quicker, but I only did it when I was really feeling it, when I was really inspired, and I was really in the mood to do it. I didn't want to force it. Last thing I ever wanted to do was force it. The series I did a year or so ago, Ranking Evil, I got myself in a pickle, kind of, so to speak, where I decided to put out a new episode every week, and that put way too much pressure on me, and I had to force it.
I get that. I get that. I think I made It's funny because there's a channel I really like, the Bad Movie Bible, and he does great videos, really really good. He's just done one today, and I know you can see how long it takes. Whereas I've been like, oh, I'm going to put out a video on a Sunday and Monday every week. And I'm not sure whether that's sustainable. It kind of is, because what I'm trying to do as well is I've got quite a lot of things that people didn't see that I want to kind of refresh and put out and show people little clips of that I think were really good that maybe they missed. But equally, it would be nice to maybe just make one video and spend a long time on it and get really good at it. I definitely appreciate that you're doing that. And I think maybe if my brain was wired a bit differently, maybe I could do that. But sometimes I have this kind of, I think it, therefore I have to do it straight away.
Yeah.
And that, that's just kind of how I am. Not as much as I used to be. Well, I'm medicated now, so I'm a bit different. But
that always helps, doesn't it?
Yeah. And also I know myself a bit more, so I try and rein myself in. Where instead of doing like, oh, I'm going to make this, I'm going to spend 6 hours on it and stay up all night. That's not good. That's not good. Yeah, it's not good.
This was total passion. This is all love. Not a bit of it was forced. It's all just real. I'm not trying to sound professional. I mean, everybody said, that seen the. I don't know if you've seen the sneak peek for it or the trailer, but it gives kind of like a hint of what it is. Matter of fact, at the end of this, I'm going to play the final trailer for it for come Monday. Yeah, it was all just a labor of love. Not a bit of it was forced. It was all just doing it when I wanted to do it, how I wanted to do it, and this will probably end up being the best thing I ever did. And
I'm looking forward to it, man. You've definitely got me wanting to see. Do you see that shot then down the stairs?
Yes.
Oh my word! How good was that? It wasn't too fast and it wasn't too slow. It was just right.
Cinematography is so key to me. Cinematography is up there. Of course, directing's up there, but you have to have characters. You have to have the characters, and it's not necessarily the great acting of the characters. It's the interest of the characters. That's the most important thing you can have in a film. The characters have got to be interesting, and you've got to give a shit about them.
Yeah, man. Oh, definitely. Yeah, there's so many elements, and sometimes the little things people miss, and lighting, like we were saying before about lighting as well.
It's just like in a relationship. The little things are so much more important than the big things. All the little things add up. It's the little things that destroys relationships, not the big ones.
Yeah, totally. And again, it goes back to what we were saying about taking your time over things.
You have to be considerate. You have to think about things. You have to really be considerate. You about every aspect, no matter what it is. There has to be consideration involved.
It's funny. Like I was saying about the little video that I made, it's not like super successful or well known or anything, but I am really happy with it. How it looks, just the aesthetic of it. But I probably did it over 2 days, but that's 2 days absolutely non-stop. So that's not necessarily a healthy way of creating.
Hey, if you get hot and you get the passion going and you got the time, hell yeah, man.
True. Sometimes I'll do that though, and I don't have the time. That's the problem.
Right. Yeah. Oh man, I've done that many times.
I'll be like, oh, I've got to go to work in 5 minutes. Right, I better do this in 5 minutes, rather than go, I could leave this till later on.
Because I'm either going to do it or I'm not. You know what I mean? If I'm going to do it, I'm going to go all in or not at all.
Yeah, that's a good way of thinking about it too, for sure. Like, yeah. Oh,
she knows something's wrong. Both of her, she can't get a hold of either one of them. She knows damn well screaming like that. She should have got, somebody should have said something. And then they told her the killer was there.
One thing about her is she's very striking looking and really is a great character to follow through the film. I watched yesterday, that Clown in a Cornfield. That lead girl was pretty good, actually. I can't remember what she was called at all, but she was pretty good. Like, she had a bit of something about her. But it's hard sometimes for them to, like, it's harder for her character than it is for Barb, because Barb gets some good lines.
Yeah.
Whereas being the victim is a tricky role.
That pissed him off, didn't it?
Yeah.
Agnes, we did, Agnes, pretty Agnes. And she slams the door into him, and he's like, he kind of came after her.
I'll tell you what, in this sort of situation, I'm fighting in all different ways. Like, I'll have no shame for what I would do. You know what I mean? Like biting and scratching and anything. I'll do anything.
It's almost like her boyfriend's aware of what's going on, because remember, he breaks out the window and he comes down there. Yet it's not the same guy that was just trying to bust in on her. It's like, how does he know she's down there? He had to have been back somewhere watching. It's like he knows what's going on here. He knows somebody was after her.
Oh,
he had to have.
Yeah, and like this kind of, like, the fact that we're having conversations about this and trying to, like, show the rewatchability of it compared to, like, if you just give all this away and make it really obvious. It's funny because like people go, oh, you know, look at Halloween and what Halloween did and all that, but like, this is before Halloween.
Yeah. The rewatchability factor is key. You have to have rewatchability factor. People, anything, like, there's a lot of films that I've seen and I've seen them once and I liked them a lot, and I call them one and dones.
Yeah,
but it doesn't become one of my favorites. One of my favorites are ones I can watch over and over again, not necessarily on the same week, but I can see them over and over, like Halloween, like Chainsaw Massacre, like The Exorcist, like Black Christmas. That's what's so important about them.
Yeah. I've got a few like that, and it's not necessarily because they're like a comfort film. It's because you get something from it different every time, or you appreciate it more. It's not just like, oh, it's just like, you know, sitting down and putting a, you know, having a warm toasty feeling. It's not that, really, isn't it? It's the same as, like, there's only a few books I've ever read in my life where I'm like, oh, I want to read that again. And I think it's the same. I don't hardly ever read now, but I used to do. But with films, there's definitely ones I could watch over and over and over and get something out of them every time.
I like to look at what I would do differently too, what I would have done. Like for Peter, when he busts the window and comes in, when she's down there looking around and looking all paranoid and scared, terrified of the dude that she just ran from, I would have already had Peter down there. Peter would have already been in the basement if I'd have made it.
Okay.
And he'd been like around the corner, and she's looking at Peter, and there he is standing there. That I think that would have been a lot freakier.
Yeah, I think as well.
Not to critique him.
No, I know. I it's interesting to look at things like that. Like this I think when I've done videos with Larry or with other people, like, people always laugh that I sometimes miss the twist, or I miss the obviousness of stuff, because I'm right in the film and I'm not questioning it. And like, it's really funny because then when I watch a really bad film, I go through it and I'm like picking apart every single little thing and making fun of it at the same time. But when I'm watching a decent film, I'm just kind of like, I accept it totally. And it's strange, really, because I know loads of people who do exactly what you do there, which is like, oh, I would do this differently, I would do that differently.
Only the best ones we do that with. You know what I mean? We don't do that with ones we don't give a shit about. We only do that with ones that we love the way they did it.
I find really bad films inspiring because I go, oh, I could do so much better than that. Whereas with films like this, I'm always like, I could never do that. I could never make a Black Christmas.
Right. Oh, hell yeah, man. Not that I ever thought that I could do better, ever. It's just that, certain things I think of and I go, oh man, that might be a little scarier. Like jump scares. To me, the old school ones, the way they come up real slow on you, to me, that's a lot creepier than Boo. You know what I mean? Because it's been so overused now, the jump scares have.
Well, this is it. If you know what's going to happen, most of what's going to happen in a film, and all the things, there are ways of doing it creatively and differently. And sometimes it's just capturing the zeitgeist of whatever's going on at the time. Like that's why I think Host is a really good film, because it was right around the time of lockdown. The jumps in that really worked well. It felt real. You were in that moment yourself. You understood it. It was believable. Things were subtle. It was written so well, and it was literally. I saw what I interviewed Jed, who wrote it, and like I saw some of the stuff they used, and it was like bits of wood and blue tack, and like it wasn't anything insanely expensive.
It's only over an hour. It's only like a little bit over an hour. Host is not very long.
It's the same time as you would have for free on Zoom at the time. So like when the Zoom call cuts out, then it cuts out. Now it'd have to be 40 minutes because Zoom's down to 40 minutes for free.
yeah. But they leave you wanting more. You know what I mean? That's worst thing you could do is overdo it. You got to leave people wanting more, not wishing that it would end. You know? Yeah. I love that. Yeah, it's only about 70 minutes, if I remember correctly. Host is.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I seen that a year or two back.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
shocking moment. It's almost like crime scene photography, or like Rillington Place. Is it 51 Rillington? The Richard Attenborough, the true story about the guy who murders the people and buries them under the house. Is it 51 Rillington Place? That's a really creepy, horrible film that John Hurt's in it as well. So, Richard Attenborough. Richard Attenborough? Yeah, I thought I was saying David. Yeah, Richard Attenborough. He's this guy, and it's a true story as well. But in that, there's moments where they freeze on the bodies and stuff, and it reminds me of that. Like it's almost like crime scene photography. It's a really good film. Is it called 51 Rillington Place or 81 Rillington Place? Let me see.
I haven't seen it.
I think you'd like it. But in 1971 it came out, so it's right in your, like you were saying, films in the 70s. 10 Rillington Place. That's what it's called. It's free on YouTube as well.
Awesome.
So,
cool. I'll check it out. 10 Willington?
Rillington, yeah. I'll send you the link. So I don't know if it's the right one. It's creepy as hell. But I think you'd like it a lot. And I don't normally say that to people. I don't normally recommend movies, because I know most times you recommend movies to people that just go, "No, I'm not watching that." But I actually think you'd really, because I'm the same. Like most of the time, I don't know.
Right.
But I actually think that this one would be right up your street, and particularly because you're saying you like about British films.
Right.
It's just. Yeah, like John Hurt's in it, but he's in it so briefly. And the creepy thing is they filmed it in the same houses where it actually happened.
Oh, wow.
And then after the film, they bulldozed it all.
Cool.
So, yeah, it's a weird one.
No, you talk about shoddy police work, man. I understand that they think they got the guy, and I can see why they would think that. How else would he know she was down there? I think he was watching. I think he just seen what was going on. But they don't got the right guy. And then they leave. This guy passes out. They leave. They sedated her, so she's not going to wake up. And then they all leave.
Yeah, they just leave.
In the house. He stands outside the house. Still, it's like, damn.
Yeah, it's like, we'll just leave all the windows and doors open and just go.
Yeah, it's I understand that some crime scene people are coming because it's not a big area, and her family are on their way. But damn, at least if you're going to leave her there, instead of taking her to the hospital, at least sitting there with her. I mean, what
she chokes on,
Yeah, but they do. They say, all right, we're out there, and as soon as he notices they're all gone, he you can see where he's coming down that little hatch, and then 30-40 seconds later, the phone starts ringing, and if you notice, after every time someone was killed, he calls every time. That's when he always called and did his crank call.
Just that idea. It's coming from inside. It's become a trope as well. People like, it's coming from inside the house.
Yeah,
it's become a thing that people say.
And then there was the other one. When a stranger calls, it had to check the children.
Yeah.
That's
what Stranger Calls is. There's some weird bits in that, like they go into the bar stuff and all that kind of. But like,
first 15 minutes,
it's okay. Yeah, it is. There's some really good bits, and again, it probably taps into my fear of weird phone calls.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's way before call waiting or anything like that. So it took them several minutes just to trace a call.
Yeah. Well, this was it. I remember when it happened to me. There was no way. There wasn't what we call 1471, where you
Yeah.
get the number. This person rang up, said a load of filth to me, and then disappeared, never to be
Right.
heard of again. And then I think I've read something in the newspaper about there being like a spate of weird phone calls stuff, and I just never said anything to anyone about it
Wow.
because I didn't want to scare my mum or anything, you know.
Oh yeah, because like I said, this dude's got it down, and those were really terrifying. I remember when that shit was going on because, like I said, we had no call waiting. We had no way of
Yeah.
finding out who it was doing that unless we called the phone company, and then they put a tracer on it, which took them several
Yeah.
minutes. You had to keep them on the line for 2, 3, 4 minutes just to get it traced.
And people go, "Oh, it was so much better back in the days." Yeah, there were definitely people doing the stuff that you're reading about in the papers
yeah.
now. They were doing it in the 60s, 70s, 50s, 40s. They've always been doing it. It's just that it's not like in your algorithm being thrown at you every 2 seconds.
They didn't even check the fucking attic, man. They didn't
No.
even look. Oh, well, we got the guy. Even though the house
Yeah.
mother's missing, Claire's missing, they still ain't found them. Oh, I'm sure they're not up there. We won't go up
Yeah,
there.
let's just leave it. Let's just go.
Awful police work. And it gets her killed because he just killed her, and now he's going to start calling, and that's how it ends. I love the way it ends.
Yeah, no music.
Yes, sometimes like The Birds was the first one to really not have a score. The Birds doesn't have a score. Chainsaw Massacre doesn't have a score, and this one doesn't really have a score. It's all just noises. It's all just shit they did fucking around.
Yeah, it's quite innovative to be doing this in, like, say, 1974. What a strange line, though. If this movie doesn't make your skin crawl, it's on too tight. What a weird thing to say. My skin is what? Your skin's on too tight?
Yeah.
What a weird phrase. That strikes me as they couldn't quite think of a line.
But sometimes you just got to say, "What the fuck?" Like
it's creepy. It's creepy, but it makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for joining me, man. I much appreciate it, man. You definitely got to come back, man. We're doing another Canadian one.
Yeah, that'd be good. Continue our Canadian journey. Yeah.
Took 4 years for us to do something together, but damn it, we did it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's crazy. It's funny as well because I thought if I don't get, like, I've got a thing on Monday, a thing on Tuesday online, and then up from 20th to the 5th, I'm doing nothing. I'm just switching off. I'm having a holiday because I don't often have holidays. So I was like, right, if we're going to do this, we're going to have to do it now. And I'm glad I did. I really, really enjoyed it. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah. You're always welcome, man. You're always welcome. I'm gonna leave everybody here with a if I can get to it. This is screwed up somehow. I can't get to my stuff very well. But I'm gonna try to get to this so that I can play this trailer. But okay, here we go. Thank God, because I really want to play this. Here's the final trailer for my documentary coming out on Monday. Thanks again, Pug Man, or Matt. I've always called you Pug, so that's just what I'm going to do.
Pug's fine. Pug's fine.
Thanks everybody for joining us. Much love to you, man. Much love to everybody. Hope you guys enjoy this, and join me for the premiere Monday night, December 15th at 8:00 for my Lucio Fulci documentary. Everybody take it easy. Later on, man.
When you came across a Lucio Fulci film, you were definitely going to get the gore. It was going to be almost over the top.
He's like not too interested in telling the story.
But there's definitely going to be eyeballs involved.
He's more interested in how the story is told.
It was something that absolutely shocked my system.
Hell of a unique filmmaker. And I'm going to watch it repeatedly. But why am I going to watch it repeatedly?
His films are very dreamlike.
Wasn't ready. I didn't know what I was in for.
Because he was quite a shy man when it came to women. Despite everything.
His films are always top-notch.